Okay, hi everyone. I got another unit finished. I have another unit of Janissaries, and I've got the final element of the Cossack wagon train. So I've got the Cossack hetman and his companions. So I painted these Janissaries based on this scroll I showed on a previous video. And one of the Janissaries had gray-blue, like a gray-blue coat, purple-looking pants, and a red, kind of like leggings or gaiters. So that's what I did. The blue I picked is a little lighter than the one in the scroll, so that's a little bit of my own artistic license. But I think when I went over it with the Agrax Earthshade, it made it dark enough, I think, to kind of approximate the color. And of course the scroll itself may be faded just from age. It was a 17th century scroll, so yeah. And this is from the Garrison box set I got back at Christmas. Get 30 Janissaries in total, and so it's pretty good to break them off into individual units if I want to do that. There's no command, but that's okay. You know, I can make one later, or they can just not have a command per se. That would be fine. Yeah, so they look pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with how the Cossacks turned out. So it'll be nice to have. I'm glad this is in the wagon train set, because I can obviously break this guy off if I want to just have an individual command for something for the Polish Commonwealth, or if I buy more Cossack units down the road, which I may do, because I could kind of build out let's say the enemies of Poland. In the 17th century, you've got the Zaporožian Cossacks, and then Sweden. I may do a Swedish army eventually, but not right now. Not anytime soon. Mostly just because I'd have to read up on the deluge, so that the Swedish invasions and kind of when the Commonwealth really suffers greatly. But maybe. And then also that would also be a good way, because I'd have a Swedish army to do 30 Years' War scenarios. So, like I've said on this, on my videos before, I like to have armies that can kind of interlock with other things. That, it's not just like I have this army over here that I can only use for this like one particular period, or this one particular war. It's kind of why, I guess that's kind of why maybe I am not really as into doing the, Second World War miniatures, even though I have a lot of bolt action figures. I have a lot of Flames of War. I've got British armies for both game systems. But, it's like, if you have World War II figures, you can really only play like World War II. Whereas these miniatures that are for like a kind of a broader time span, I can do all these different, I can war game all these different conflicts. If I get more Cossack units, I can war game. There are some Cossack raids onto the Ottoman Empire, actually, which is kind of an interesting moment in the early 17th century. Things like that, so yeah. And then the next thing I'll paint up, I'm going to get started on these Crimean Tatars, and I think those will look pretty good. I need to decide what colors. I think I'm going to do like a desert yellow, and like dark red maybe. I think that those are good colors for like these kind of Tatar raiders. Something that's, gives them some color, but it's not like too bright. But I may also just look into look at some period illustrations to see, you know, how they dress, because they may have gotten bright colors, brightly colored fabric from raids. I mean, that was their main kind of occupation. So, and I've talked about, I've been thinking about doing this Napoleonic Polish project, which is kind of more limited in terms of what I could do with it, but that's okay. And my plan with that is to not really do anything like a huge army, or I'm not really doing a Napoleonic project to represent like the French army in one particular campaign. I think I'd rather just do like, I'm going to use those Old Glory miniatures that someone recommended. You know, I think I'll just do like unit of light infantry, maybe 1 or 2 units of regular line infantry, and then grenadiers, and then like 1 unit of grenadiers, and then maybe like a cavalry unit or something. And that way I just have like a Napoleonic force if I ever want to, you know, play that at a club or something. Yeah, I think that would be fun. It would be something different. But I've got a lot of painting to do still with what I've got for this kind of broadly speaking, the Hotin, Setzor and Hotin project that I've been doing. And I've got more Tatars to assemble as well. But I'm making good progress, I think. I've got a lot done the last several months, and yeah. There will be kind of a painting hiatus because I'm going back to Poland this summer, so probably not going to be able to do much painting. I did think about doing some videos of the historic places in Warsaw. Like I thought about maybe doing a video of the castle walls and the old town in Warsaw, or the fortress walls, because they're pretty sure they're like 17th century or 16th century fortification walls that still exist. That might be interesting. Or I could do a video of Jan Sobieski's palace, but I don't know. I kind of get self-conscious filming, especially in foreign countries. It's just not because I'm afraid of anything. It's just I think it's kind of disrespectful, you know, to go around like filming everything and, you know, getting people, strangers in the camera. I could be overthinking this, but it's just, you know, I don't really like to do it, you know, because it's all well and good to watch like these travel YouTubers, but then I have seen these people in public in my own adventures, and I don't know, it's not something I'm comfortable with. If those people can do it, that's good for them, but yeah. Okay, yeah, and then, so that's what I've got going on. I have been watching some of these lectures from the National World War I Museum, which are pretty good. I've been listening to those while I paint, and a lot of them are really good, but the ones about the Habsburg monarchy are a little they're just not very good. They're pretty disappointing. I was going to do a longer discussion of this, but I think I'll just keep my comments short and not bore people too much longer. But you know, they keep harping on this, like the empire was you know, like multi-ethnic, and the nationalities all wanted to escape, which is kind of the narrative in a lot of older books about the Habsburg Empire, which may have been more understandable because, you know, you had more limited access to archives, especially the countries that were behind the Iron Curtain, you know, things like that, you know, even within, you know, and then you have the scholars within the Soviet bloc that, you know, had to write in certain ways, you know, to not kind of arouse suspicion or whatever. But these lectures some of them are from the World War I centennial, so they're several years old now. You know, almost a decade, I guess 10 years old in some cases. And then some of them are more recent. I was really perplexed by this because you know, I war game, you know, you guys know I do the earlier Habsburg armies for wargaming, but it's also my research and my real world career. And I found that strange because, you know, the Habsburg, the imperial armies were just as multi-ethnic in the 16th century and the 17th century as they were in the 20th century. You know, and they were able to fight and coordinate. You know, you had representation from, you know, most of the major Central European ethnic groups. So, you know, that would be, you know, Hungarians, Austrians, of course, you know, Czechs, Croatians, Slovaks, in certain cases. So they're all there, and, you know, they were able to fight. And in fact, you know, I think that was kind of the norm up until, you know, that was kind of the standard composition, you know, and then you had in the 30 Years' War, you know, you have these Catholic League armies that are, you know, I don't know the kind of precise breakdowns, but I would assume those were similar situation. But for some reason, these lectures by 20th century or 19th and 20th century scholars on the First World War, suddenly they're still saying this is an issue. I mean, it's probably because they don't study the earlier history that in great depth. It's kind of a frustration I have, especially when people are talking about like the Ottomans and the Austria-Hungary in World War I kind of see that. You know, so yeah, it's just kind of disappointing more than anything else. And you know, maybe it's hard because in America we don't, you know, generally we don't have a reason to learn like multiple languages because it's just not necessary in most cases. And, you know, but in Europe, a lot more people just speak multiple languages, or, you know, they at least know enough of a second one to get around. And, you know, in a military context, I mean, how much do you really need to know, kind of thing? You know, I guess you could debate that maybe, but, and then they use this to say that, you know, well, you know, the Austrian army was just completely useless in World War I, and, you know, I mean, I'm kind of exaggerating a little bit, but that's what comes off in these lectures, and it's by one of the historians is Graydon Tunstall, and then another one is Richard Faulkner, who I've read his book on the American Army in World War I, Pershing's Crusaders, back in college, and that was a good book. I liked it a lot, but he's given some lectures about the Austria-Hungary, and I'm kind of confused because it's a lot of old narratives that don't really gel with like the more recent kind of research and findings and the sources. So yeah, all right. Well, I think I'll stop there. I could talk for probably a lot longer, but yeah, maybe if I do some of these videos about like the Hungary, like the Kingdom of Hungary armies in the Middle Ages, and then the imperial armies like in the 16th and 17th centuries, maybe that would kind of help provide something, you know, more like a positive contribution for people to understand that stuff better than just, you know, making a critical video. But all right, well, thanks for bearing with me in that little digression. I'll have more soon, I hope, and I'll talk to you in the next video.